You're listening to a Countout Podcast.
Hello and welcome to Jumpin' Knee Pod, a modern-day All Japan Pro Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, Jessica, and today with me for the first time is Ruth.
Hi!
So, just before we get into everything, just tell us, who's your favorite All Japan wrestler and how you got into the company?
Okay, so how I got into the company, Jake Lee.
Yeah.
I think when I start watching a promotion, it's generally because of a person. And Jake was that person. So I think I started watching like late 2020, early 21. Unfortunately, that's also the reason why my watching of All Japan has been really patchy over some periods. One, obviously, he left, but also the whole kind of total eclipse thing made some sense. So yeah, Jake was my favorite. It gets a little complicated more recently. I guess, I mean, certainly my favorite, definitely like All Japan wrestler would be Musashi, which, yeah. But we're going to talk a little bit later because I have two guys who are my favorites, a tag team. And yeah, they are probably my favorites. I would also, I have so many favorites, sorry. I would also say Ren. Love Ren. He would be my kind of heavyweight favorite.
I remember when he first joined All Japan, as a signed wrestler, we were messaging back and forward saying, Ren, it's okay to smile. We were on Ren watch because he would always, hide a smile. He could see it trying to come out. So it's good he's finally smiling and, joking around.
Oh, it's so lovely. At the time, I was thinking, the first time he smiled, I think we messaged each other. We're like, oh my God, he's smiling. And I wanted to create a book of Ren smiles because they went from this tiny little turn up, slightly, I'm not sure if I'm smiling or just being slightly sly, and have turned into these massive, actual beaming smiles every now and again. And yeah, I think maybe one day I will do that because I think it'll bring a lot of joy just to be able to watch Ren smiles.
Just to see it grow from just his lips in a straight line just to keep curving up and up.
Absolutely. And especially when it reached the point where it's I'm kind of full of myself smile.
Yeah.
That has been absolutely kind of the peak moment for him. And I hope he keeps that forever.
Yes. So unfortunately, we're going to have to leave Ren behind today because today is a bonus episode all about the upcoming junior tournament. We're going to go through participants, dates, and matchups. But before that, we did something kind of special. We picked a junior match each that we love very much dearly. And we're just going to talk about it a bit. Everybody we mentioned is in the junior tournament. So it fits. The match I'm going to talk about is Asuka Oyagi versus Rising Hayato from back in 2022. So 3 years ago. And just quickly, I got some backstory before jumping in. So I hated how the junior title was handled when they brought it back after the passing of Atsushi Yayuki. It had some lows and very few highs. So Susumu won the title when it was reintroduced. Then it went to Koji Iwamoto, who at that time was a junior A, so that was pretty good. But from there, it went downhill. We had Shima, Izanagi, Super Crazy of all people, and Tiger Mask. It just went from crap champion to crap champion. So Tiger Mask held the belt going into All Japan's 50th anniversary show at the Budokan. And this is just I just am so angry that he held the belt going into All Japan's biggest show. For me, I know this sounds so stupid saying it should be All Japan wrestler, but I thought it should have been Hikaru Sato who's basically an All Japan wrestler. Because who was challenging Tiger Mask but Asuka Oyagi? So it was going from like the old generation to the new generation. And like Asuka had to win this. There was like no other outcome that would be acceptable except for Asuka winning. He won. We were talking before. I actually wrote an article about this, about Asuka's rise to the top of the junior division. So it is out there. I might link it in the description. So the first challenger, it had to be Rising Hayato. These two are just linked ever since Hayato stepped into All Japan. The stage was set for Korakuen Hall on the 2nd of October. You had baby Yuma Anzai and Ryu Inoue at ringside. They were so cute, still in their like rookie stage. Yuma Oyagi was in his brother's corner, and the loudest man in the world, Kento Miyahara, was on commentary. One thing that was really special about this match was it was the main event, and it has been nearly 10 years since the junior title last main evented Korakuen Hall. So this meant they had like this massive opportunity, and this just to show everybody just like they deserve this main event. They deserve every main event that they get because they are just so good. And like all eyes were on them and they deserved it. On to the match. Watching it back, it was funny because I really, really do like this match, but you just know this is such a small footnote in what's going to be a long and extremely entertaining generational rivalry. Like even like 3 years on from this match, they've had so many more matches and you can just see them grow. And in this match, like Asuka's kind of the same. Like he has like little bits here and there that remind me of Yuma Aoyagi, his brother, but Hayato has changed so much and he's grown so much into his character. Like it was still new in his like e-boy, visual K phase. And I don't want to say phase, but like I can't think of another word right now. So he still had a lot to grow in. Asuka kind of a little bit the same. So it was really, really nice to see Hayato like back in this era when he just started like his new chapter in his career. Watching these two young wrestlers put on a show while two future Triple Crown champions at ringside and Kento was losing his mind on commentary was like a wonderful watch. And seeing it live in the moment, you just knew these two are it. Like this is the future of the division. And just like I could not be more proud of them because they went out there and they're just like, yes, this is us. Like, unfortunately, it was a clap only crowd, so we didn't really get people cheering and going crazy, but like it's going to happen again. And we're going to get that crazy crowd. We're going to get Kento on commentary again, losing his mind. Yuma is always going to be there in his brother's corner. We got like new rookies now on the outside. Yuma Anzai has obviously moved on. Anyway, is almost there. Fingers crossed, hopefully. But just like seeing the start of their rivalry in the champion scene is just so special. And just please, please, please watch this if you haven't, especially for Kento just absolutely going nuts. Like I thought he was going to jump out of his chair when Hayato did a Swanson bomb to the outside. It's just, I might clip it and put it on socials because it made me laugh so much. But this was just such a special match to watch in this whole, the whole junior division scene because this is what it needed. It needed this kick to get back to where it deserved.
Really. Oh, I love that. And I feel like almost like this is like suggesting pre-reading for going into this tournament because it is so important that youth part of this. And I think we've got a really interesting lineup. And the match I'm going to talk about is not so much about youth. I mean, God, I don't want to say these guys are old because that would say things about me. But it is a really different, I suppose, kind of match and mix. And I think the youth part is going to be super important in the tournament. So like kind of having that as a starting point, especially because so much has happened for both of them since as well. And the thing I really love about both guys is how they've made themselves. Like you can see that if you go back and look at this match and see who they are now. Like they've really just grown and grown and grown into it. And when we talk about like junior aces, I feel like that is what they need to be. Like they need to become more and more themselves, but also like more and more the promotion and the face. And I feel like both of them have done that. So it's going to be really interesting when they, if we see that again. So I'm going to talk about a match that has had a lot of love on this podcast already. So I'm not going to try and go over, I think, some of the things we've already said about it, which is just that this has been an incredible match of this year. Because I'm going to talk about Musashi and Seiki's title match from the Oda Award and the Champion Carnival final. This is it was a really emotional match for me because actually it was Seiki Musashi who really brought me back to watching All Japan very consistently. They are both guys that from other promotions I've cared a lot about, but who I felt like maybe just hadn't been able to take that step up, or at the point that they had really taken the step up to being like a face of a promotion or being like a leading position. Something had happened that made it difficult for them to kind of pull through on that. And, Seiki for a time, just even before he joined All Japan, was kind of looking like he was stepping away from wrestling. Musashi, it seemed like he was always going to be at Michinoku Pro, and kind of his big leap into All Japan and taking that kind of decision to move to Tokyo, I think was a really big deal for him. So from the start that I saw them in All Japan, one of the huge things that for me really connected with their place in All Japan was them finding a home. Like I genuinely felt like they were starting to do that building, to build themselves within a particular promotion. And, despite the fact that I think, Seiki, I think it's always going to be a freelancer. I think he enjoys that kind of opportunity to move around, but he does have that real connection with All Japan. He was a trainee there for a 3-month period, but I think an important 3-month period in his career because it was his connection with Muto, who has kind of is essentially a lifelong friend to him now. And so them building that home partly through each other ultimately, because they became tag partners. I think we got to see a huge amount more of their personalities than we've necessarily seen in other promotions. We got to see them be silly. We got to see them be really stupid, to have stupid arguments, to fall out. And I knew from that point, like some point, these guys are going to have to face each other because that's what tag partners do, right? And so this match itself, I think it has been talked about in other places, just the emotional intensity of this, of two tag partners, of two people who are incredibly close, facing each other, of that kind of, they'd always approached it with we're still going to be friends afterwards. We're going to be better afterwards, actually, after facing each other, because we're going to understand each other better, but not holding anything back. So immediately, like, shaking hands, but also punching each other in the face, because that's, again, what tag partners do. And there were many moments in this match, I think, where they were showing part of themselves and their story. Seiki hit like pretty much every finisher and every kind of big move that he has. Musashi didn't, which is kind of interesting to me. But I think what we really saw in this match from both guys is something we hadn't in the year that they'd been in All Japan. I think we saw that next level that both of them can deliver, and they showed that with each other. And I guess I feel like this is a really interesting match to see of them going into this tournament, because it is also about going, okay, these guys are now at this level. This is what they can do, and they are both in their own ways, Musashi as a signed wrestler, Seiki as a champion, very much also part of what All Japan is right now. And I think therefore, like, they're going to be incredibly strong in this tournament, hopefully. But I also think like the ability to create those moments for juniors really exists in All Japan. It always has, and it always has been a mix of All Japan wrestlers and outsiders, and that has actually been quite important, I think, in creating that kind of the junior division that we have now. And so despite not being maybe All Japan born, I do think that they are going to play a really important role in setting up what the junior division is like for the future.
Yeah, 100%. I love that we we didn't talk about what matches we were picking. Like, I knew you want to talk about Musashi versus Seki because we talked about it before, like online, like because I knew you love it. And the thing is, it kind of worked out perfectly because I chose the match that I feel kicks off the new resurgence of the junior division, and you picked one like that's kind of, you know, where we are now, and just seeing like it grow 3 years is just, it's just amazing, you know, from what we had before, and just to see now how the juniors have grown and just work so well together. And then you get like these older guys. I don't want to say they're old, but like compared to the junior division we had before, you got Seki, Musashi, and Doi, and they just slot in so well, and everything just works so well. It's just like, I don't know. It's just like, how do these people come in and it's just perfect? Like, and I've got Fumino Abe, but of course he just works well anywhere he goes. And I just love the junior division so much because I feel a way for the juniors like different than I do the heavyweights. I just want to see junior wrestling. I just want to see them go for it because it's been ignored for so long, and they are so, so good, and they can't be ignored anymore.
Yes. And I think people really sleep on this for All Japan. I think people don't think about the junior division here. And actually, it's been important, like not just now, but historically. And I think people need to pay attention. I think there is, you know, it's a problem we have with when there's comedy as well. Like people have a very one-dimensional view of what All Japan is. And they therefore are missing out on some of the most exciting wrestling that is there. And part of that is the junior division.
It's funny because in other promotions I watched, I've seen the junior division and been like, yeah, just go back to the heavyweights. But in All Japan, I'm just like, no, give me Haito, give me Asuka, give me Dan. Like, I want to see these guys wrestle. I want to see them in the main event again.
Yes. And what they do a really good thing in terms of how they mix up the juniors with the heavies. Like, you know, there's not a point, you're not just waiting for like the junior part of the year, although we definitely were waiting for the junior part of the year in this case. But they have opportunities throughout, and I think actually this is a really good time for them to like show themselves actually really one of the strongest junior divisions out there. At the same time as other promotions are also kind of leveling up their junior positions. So I think this is really strong and could be really, really exciting.
Yeah, one thing we talk about on the podcast a bit is how they've handled the All Asia tag team titles, where they've had a heavyweight and a junior weight. And what they've been doing in recent matches is letting the junior weight take control and have the majority of the match and have the ending of the match, which matters, because you could easily have them tag out and have the heavyweights come in, but it's like, no, the junior's going to finish this one off. So like they are getting the spotlight. I just hope they continue to get the spotlight.
Yeah. Yes.
So those are two matches. If you can watch it, please watch it. They are on AJPW.tv. Maybe they're on other services. I don't know. I haven't checked. But I think they're important in, you know, the whole junior division to watch. So for the junior tournament, we got participant and dates now. 2 blocks. Block A, we got Ryzen Hayato, Rii Inoue, Hikaru Sato, Sega Tajibana, and Seki Yoshioka. And in Block B, we got Musashi, Dan Tamura, Asuka Yagi, Fumino Abe, and Naruki Doi. And I really like these blocks. There's a lot of exciting matchups. And out of all these people, only 2 of them haven't held the junior title. So it's Rii Inoue from Block A and Fumino Abe in Block B, but he's held like so many titles. Like,
yeah, I think we can count him as being being in a good position.
Oh, I forgot. I always forget about Tachibana. Also Tachibana, but he's held the Goro King's title.
Oh no, sorry, Sega.
Yeah, we love him. But yeah, just to see like the mix of all these people, and it's just like how little people haven't held the title in this tournament. It's just crazy because this is like a really, really stacked tournament, and it's going to be like fierce.
Absolutely. I love how they've done lots of very intelligent like splitting between the 2 blocks.
Yeah.
So we're not getting some matchups we might want to have in this tournament. We're going to have to wait until the end. But I think that makes it really exciting. I wanted to swap out Doi from his block for Inoue just because I love Inoue and Musashi's kind of clashes together, and I'm afraid I don't think they are going to win their respective blocks, and I'm not going to get to see that this summer. But hopefully in their future, I'm sure from what I've seen in the past, people can see the potential of that.
Yes. We're going to go over the dates and the schedule. So each day we're going to give like, a pick for our favorite, like, do watch this. We haven't discussed this beforehand. So we may have the same matches, we may have different matches. Who knows? The tournament starts on the 17th of July. We have Rising Haito versus Seki Yoshioka, Ria Inoue versus Kara Sato, Dan Tamura versus Fuminori Abe, and Asuka Oyagi versus Naruki Doi. My pick is Inoue versus Sato. I said like a couple years ago, this matchup is like kick boy versus kick man. So
sorry, I love that.
Yes, those two for me.
Absolutely. I really hope that Inoue does get a strong start to this. So I think that's a really, really good pick. My pick for this one would be Rising Hayato versus Seiki, partly because of how important I think it is for both guys. Seiki's basically said that he's going to go undefeated in the block, and Musashi's going to go undefeated in the block, and just putting loads of pressure on the entire thing. So for him, that's the kind of, first match. As a champion, you have to stand up to what you said. But Fajardo is, he's coming off a breakup. He needs to show that what he said about that he's going to go concentrate on the junior division, and he doesn't mind. That's true, that he's going to kind of come back to that and be prepared to lead that, and that means a win. I think not a win here is going to be a real knock to him. So though I'm very clearly a huge Seiki fan, I will be pulling for Rising Hayato in that one.
We move on to the 20th of July. We have Rising Hayato versus Ria Inoue, Seki Yoshioka versus Seigo Tachibana, Dan Tamura versus Naruki Doi, and Musashi versus Asuka Aoyagi. I am picking Musashi versus Asuka. I thought we were actually going to get this match in like a junior championship match since Asuka came back. I was like, yeah, he's going straight to the top. He's going for that belt straight away, but he didn't. So this is a match I actually wanted to see, and I finally get it.
Yeah. I feel like we've been waiting on this one. I'm actually really glad that he didn't go straight there. I think that would have kind of upset the kind of path of things, and that would have been a huge amount of pressure for him. So I'm glad. But yeah, I've been waiting for this one as well. Like, there's been tension between these two, kind of even when they've been on the same side. So I'm ready for this one to fully explode. I think it's gonna be great.
On the 21st of July, we got Rising Hayato versus Kara Sato, Ria Inoue versus Seigo Tachibana, Naruki Doi versus Fuminori Abe, and Musashi versus Dan Tamura. I'm going to go with Ria Inoue versus Seigo Tachibana just because I love Tachibana and I think he can really piss off Inoue. Yeah.
I had this mood like totally for similar reasons. Like, I do think their personalities are going to be incredible. I think, this is, I think, pretty unlikely to be the main event, but it's definitely going to be the one that I'm like, I really want to see what you guys can do together. And I think they could do something pretty incredible, actually.
Yeah. And Seigo Tachibana can actually show Ria Inoue what a good taunt looks like, because Ria Inoue's taunt sucks.
Yeah, this is his major development for the year. Like, yeah. Come on, by the end of the year, this is your goal.
On the 24th of July, we have Kara Sato versus Seigo Tachibana, Ria Inoue versus Seki Yoshioka, Musashi versus Naruki Doi, and Asuka Oyagi versus Fuminori Abe. And I am picking Asuka versus Abe because these two, I think they mesh really, really well. I think they can just go for it. And Abe can just school Asuka, who's supposed to be the junior champion, but I think can be knocked down a peg with just how good Fuminori Abe is.
This is a tough day for me because I'm like, actually, I'm really interested in all of these ones. I would probably go Inoue versus Seiki. Like, I think the kind of kick boy features, obviously there. I do love a kick boy, but also I just, there's something really interesting about, sort of talking about like taunting and like that arrogance. I think Seiki has quite a lot of arrogance in how he approaches stuff that actually is probably about on the kind of level that Inoue could be kind of pitching at. And I think that will be quite interesting for both of them. I also have seen quite a few Japanese fans like suggesting that Inoue might win his block. And that would be amazing. I feel like we've been waiting a while kind of since that incredible, like tag team match that he was in where like everybody was cheering for him. And it feels like maybe not, I wouldn't say stagnating because he's been doing lots of stuff and he's still interesting, but there's a journey there that needs to like actually kick off. And I feel like I would love for this to be that point for him.
I just want Ryu Inoue to get that one big win, and I hope it's against Seki. He wins against this match.
Yeah.
I don't know if he does. I just hope this really, like you said, like kicks off for him. On the 26th of July, we have Rising Hayato versus Sega Tachibana, Seki Yoshioka versus Hikaru Sato, Dan Tamura versus Asuka Oyagi, and Musashi versus Fuminori Abe. I just want to shout out Yoshioka and Hikaru Sato. I'm excited for that match. But I'm picking Dan Tamura versus Asuka Oyagi. Like, these two literally started together. Like, they debuted on the same day. They were tag team partners. They've just had, like, such this long, not as good as a rivalry as Asuka versus Hayato, but it's been there. And I'm just excited to see, like, just how these two developed over the years and, like, where they are now.
Yeah. Definitely. My pick is Yoshioka and Hikaru Sato. Seki was in the 2019 Junior Battle of Glory, and him and Sato went to a 20-minute draw. And I love this match. I just love it so much. Please do go back and watch it as well. That would kind of be on my list of things to watch. It's very much my kind of match. There is kicking, there is pulling of limbs, there is desperation, and it's watching that because I've watched it again recently. Seki has developed since then, and I'm just really curious. They don't face each other that much, but also 20-minute draw. This is a 30-minute match, and I am really curious what happens in minute 21.
The last time they did the Junior Battle of Glory, it was 10-minute time limit. And some of these matches are really, really close to the 10 minutes. I don't know, 10 minutes is so different from a 30-minute match. But I would like if these matches get really, really close. Because you know how you hear the ring announcer like start screaming when there's like 2 minutes left and 1 minute left and 30 seconds? I want to hear that because it's been a long time since we've heard that.
Definitely. I also think, there's some real like Kenton commentary potential for this tournament. We could get a lot of screaming going on. And not just Kento, I feel like a lot of the heavyweights could really contribute some good screaming here.
Definitely Honda. He's like on Kento's level. It really is.
Oh my God.
And on the 3rd of August, the finals, we have the A block winner versus B block winner. Now, I'm going to ask you, who do you want to be in the finals, but who do you think will be in the finals as well?
Oh, okay. This is really hard.
It's like, what does your head choose, but what does your heart choose?
To be honest, like, okay, so my heart was very much, I think it should be Atsuki and Seiki. I think that they should do that and they should run it twice effectively because obviously the winner will challenge. I think Atsuki should win. I think he needs to do that. I think he's on a point where he does need that kind of rise up. And yeah, so that's genuinely, you might expect my heart to say like, gotta have Mu-Chen, Sei-Chen again, but actually, I think they need to take a little bit of time over that. I actually think this tournament, like, it's stressing me out how much tension it could cause between them. Like, if one of them loses, the other's going to get mad. So I think play that drama out over here, and the match that I would like to see, I think, is those two. Having seen quite a few Japanese fans pulling for Inoue, I'm like, oh, like, maybe I would actually really like that. But yeah, my choice, I think I should potentially on both counts. I suspect, however, that it will be Atsuki and Hayato. Yes. That is, it feels a little obvious, but I don't really have a problem with the obviousness of it because the story is so good.
Yeah. I think my head's definitely saying like Hayato versus Atsuki. If you want two juniors who mesh wonderfully well and who know each other inside and out and who can put on a good match like at a big stage, it's these two. But my heart is saying like Inoue. I just want so much more for this little guy. And like Block B, I'm like, oh, who would I pick? Like, who would my heart pick? Then I thought like Asuka Yagi. Like, knock over the junior champion. Oh, sorry. Not junior champion. Junior ace. He's been champion. He is actually a champion. He's always champions.
And he's a junior. It works.
My mistake did make sense. Yeah, but I think how they split the blocks, like you said, Block A having Ryzen Hayato and Block B having Asuki is like, okay, we know your Game Watch fan. We know what you're doing.
Yeah. And that's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with obvious, given that like how much they put into this story and how much it genuinely means. My version of this, if we had Seiki and Atsuki, would be Seiki winning the actual title match and then Hayato challenging Seiki, because I basically want this entire thing to play out, but Seiki to still be involved. Because I think that, I mean, they are the story. They are, you know, Atsuki is the junior ace. I mean, really, and things have changed in the time he was away, and I think there's so much we can do with that.
I think he needs this big moment to like reclaim, yeah, I'm the junior ace. I might have been gone for however many months, like, but I'm back now and I'm going to take my spot at the top. So if this is Asuki, and if we just get him a little bit more meaner, like kind of stray away from his brother and how he acts, like look what Ren's doing and how he's getting like a little bit more meaner every now and then. We just need Asuki, if he actually reaches the finals, I'm talking like he is going to be in the finals, but if he reaches the finals, I would like him to just be that little bit more meaner and hit that little bit more harder to say, yes, this is where I belong because I am the junior ace and all you guys underneath me.
And actually, like, his block gives him so much potential for doing that. I mean, like, Doi is a guy you want to slap. Musashi, they've already had this kind of tension. Like, I feel like he's going to, I mean, Abe is going to annoy the hell out of him as well. Like, I feel like he could actually build that meaner persona just through this. So, yeah, I think that could be pretty powerful.
Yeah. And if Seki doesn't get to the finals, he has to be on commentary for the junior tournament final. He has to be there.
Yeah.
So I am actually extremely, extremely happy the juniors have a tournament again. It's been 2 years since I had it. And I've said this before, I'm going to say it again, because they run the junior Battle of Glory, so the single tournament alongside Tag League for the last, well, not the last 2 years. So like 4 years ago, like you know what I mean? So when they did do it, the juniors blew the heavyweights out the water. Tag League wasn't good at all, but Junior Battle of Glory was fantastic. So I'm expecting the same here. Like, of course, it's not just going to be the tournament. There's going to be like heavyweight wrestling throughout. On the 21st is even a Triple Crown title match. So Jun Saito versus Ricky Honda. So of course, like that's going to be like the main event, of course. But the focus actually is the junior tournament. I don't care about anything else. I'm going to watch like the Triple Crown title match and stuff, you know, hoping my boy Honda wins. But I just want to see junior wrestling. I just want to see these guys go all at it. I'm happy they don't have to have a 10-minute time limit because it's just like, why give them 10 minutes and give the heavyweights 30 minutes? It should be the other way around. I'm just so happy that they actually did it, and I hope it's a yearly thing and they don't stop it just randomly every now and then.
Absolutely. And I think it's a smart move. Like, I think we've noticed in recent kind of big shows, like the juniors have kind of stolen the show at points. And actually, if you give them the same status, then it doesn't make your other guys look weaker. And I think genuinely that's a risk. I think they're showing them up. And part of me loves that. But also, like, if you give these divisions parity, then you are also giving your aces parity, and you're giving so much more power to your company that I think is attracting people through these amazing personalities. So yeah, they just financially, guys, terrible idea. Keep it like this.
Yeah.
Do not start mixing things up again.
And like you said, like the juniors have been stealing the show. The best match this whole year, doesn't matter heavyweights, junior weights, tag team, is Musashi versus Seki Yoshioka. In my heart of hearts, like that's what I believe. And I truly believe at the end of the year it's going to be the same. Like I just did the media awards, and my guest Marlo and I both picked Seki Yoshioka, and I don't think that's going to change at all. And the fact of the matter is, I'm sad that it's not as talked about as like a junior match in Noah or a junior match in New Japan. So like, I'm glad to talk about it here. I'm glad to talk about it in the last episode. And even the episode before that I did with Simone for the Champion Carnival wrap up. We talked about it there. And I will talk about it in every single episode until more people watch it because they deserve to watch it.
Yeah, I am. I wrote some stuff about it. Like I wrote an article about it. But like I'm shocked how little I've seen people talking about this match. And I do think a relatively average heavyweight match in All Japan has gotten a lot more attention because it fits what people are expecting. And I think that's a huge, huge shame because they're missing out on something. I don't think you need to know anything about these guys actually going into this match. I think they are the perfect example of storytelling contained within a match. And yes, there's loads of layers and other stuff you can add to it. But you could have walked in that building knowing nothing about them and still have been like, oh shit. And that's incredibly powerful for any company to have. And it's such a shame that I think not everybody is noticing that. So everybody tell your friends. Make them watch this match. I have made people watch this match, and you need to do the same.
And it's funny because like the matches we picked, like you just said, Musashi versus Seki Yoshioka, you don't need backstory for it. But for my pick, Asuka Oyagi versus Rising Hayato, I had a lot of backstory for it because I think the backstory was important. But then again, like just walking into a match, seeing no backstory and just being like, yeah, these two guys just want to beat the hell out of each other and they just go counter for counter. It's just beautiful.
Yeah. And I also think you could genuinely like watch so many Rising Hayato or Atsuki matches, and I think people will be like, I'm now a fan of that guy. Like, because they have that about them. Like, you don't necessarily need to know the huge history behind them as kind of the conflict. You should be like, wow, these guys are incredible.
It's funny because I think back like in like 2018, 2019, it was Jake Lee for these people. Like Jake Lee for you, definitely Jake Lee for me. And a lot of other people like got into All Japan because of that. They thought, he was going to dethrone Kento. He didn't. It was Tuama. But, we all had hope.
Yeah.
And I think now it's two people who's getting people into All Japan. It is 100% Yuma Anzai and 100% Rising Hayato. And I can definitely see the appeal. If I was an All Japan fan and I saw these two, I was just like, who are these guys? I need to know more.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I was like with Kento because I first saw him in 2019 Champion Carnival. Everyone was posting clips and GIFs and videos of him online. I'm just like, who is this guy? I have to know more. Then I found out his rivalry with Jake Lee. I started looking up Jake Lee. I started watching in October 2019, and I've been hooked ever since. Jake Lee has left, unfortunately, but then you got like Yumanzai kind of rising in his place, and he's, taken over Jake Lee's position of getting people into the company.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's actually, that's a really interesting parallel, because I think I started watching Jake because there's a certain like element. The thing that got me into Jake was Jake and Koji, like as a team. And obviously Naya kind of in there, but it was the kind of like pretty arrogance thing. Like, it's very appealing. Because it tells like such a story. Like, you don't need to know anybody. You can go and like, that guy thinks he's hot.
Yeah.
Let's see what he's got.
I don't know how we moved back to the heavyweights, but I'm glad we did talk about it a bit.
Everybody is important. Like, this is obviously even not juniors. Everybody is important, but so glad these guys are going to get to shine, right?
Yeah. I think for me, it really is special because, I've seen Rising Hayato, Ri Inoue, Dan Tamura, Asuka Oyagi literally like start from the beginning. Mm-hmm. So to see them grow where they are now, to have them all, except for Inoue, be champions and see them all win the belt and like literally be in the building when Dan won the belt, which for me was like a top 10 experience. It's just really, really special. And I hope people out there have the same feeling that I do, seeing people start literally from rookie stage, from the shaved head to, Asuka's pink hair now. It's just a really special experience, and I hope people have that experience too. No, so I just want to say, like, if you have the opportunity, please watch it. Please see what this junior is made of. You'll still see the heavyweights. You'll still see like Kento and I was gonna say Yuma. It's like you won't see him. He's out for a while. You'll see the other Yuma Oyagi, which he did say on Twitter he will be the handsome Yuma now. He'll carry that burden just for us.
I am looking forward to seeing what he makes of that.
Yeah. It was funny. I was discussing it with Rachel. So if Yuma Anzai is a handsome Yuma, like what does that make Yuma Oyagi? The handsome but maybe a little less handsome Yuma.
Not quite as handsome Yuma. Oh. But he's I mean, you've covered this before. He's the real Yuma.
He is. Yuma Anzai is the imposter. But no, so if you do start watching from this tournament, you'll still see like a Triple Crown match. You'll still see the heavyweights, but like the junior weights, this is their spotlight. This is their moment. This is it for them. I'm very much looking forward to it. Well, we've reached the end of another bonus episode, a very, very special episode. I want to thank everyone for listening and supporting Jumping Knee Pod. You can find me at sisterjessiee on Twitter and Bluesky, and also RawRose72 on Twitter, and Jumping Knee Pod is also on Instagram. So, Ruth, where can people find you?
I am on Twitter and Bluesky and Instagram, all at ruthisanotter, because I kind of am. So please do find me there. I talk about lots of different promotions, but I definitely talk about juniors a lot. So please do. I'd love to have conversations about this stuff. If you want to scream about Seki or Musashi or any of the juniors, I'm well up for that.
You're going to tell people about 60-minute draw?
I guess I do need to do that. Sorry. Okay, so I'm also editor of a site called 60-Minute Draw, 60minutedraw.com. So again, you can find that on Bluesky and Twitter as well. But please do check it out. We have some articles about All Japan on there. We have articles about loads of different promotions, but the focus is really on the storytelling. Because I think it's a fascinating part of wrestling that doesn't necessarily get covered in other places. So please do check that out. But also, if you are interested in telling a story, then please do also get in touch. I would love to hear. We've got some very exciting things coming up that I'm not going to tell you about because it puts pressure on people who are writing them. But I am very excited about what I have seen so far.
No, I've read a couple articles for 6 Minute Draw, and the process has been so smooth and just so much fun because Ruth just loves wrestling. And honestly, like the happiness you radiate from just like your notes about what I've written just makes me smile so much because I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is great. Like, I don't know, I can't explain it. Just if you have an idea, just please message Ruth. Like, we just need more writers out there writing about why they love wrestling because, like I said, there is a lot of negativity in wrestling. We just need more positive. And if you want more positive, like 6 Minute Draw is a place to go.
Oh, I'm so glad. That means genuinely the world to me because I think, yeah, it's that kind of love, and I feel that I felt that in the things you wrote. I feel that in the things that people write for me, and it gives me so much joy. Like, I genuinely feel like this is such a privileged position because I get to read everything before anybody else. And I think that's probably why the entire thing exists, because I get to then read and hear about people's love for something and hear about them wanting to share that with the world. And that is an incredibly powerful thing. It's kind of what I think wrestling is in itself, is like sharing like love and hope and human emotions with other people. So yeah, I want other people to do that. And like, if you are not used to writing, if English is not your first language, all those kind of things, like genuinely, I am really supportive of people wanting just to communicate, and hopefully I can help people to do that and to tell a story that they're excited about.
100%, definitely. But thank you so much, Ruth, for coming on. This was like literally a last-minute podcast. An idea popped into my head. I'm like, I have to get Ruth on for this episode, definitely. So thank you for being here.
Just been dying to talk to you about the juniors and about wrestling and all Japan. So this has been an absolute treat, especially like just Jumping Knee Pod is over a year old, and it's so cool, and I love listening because of that love, and it really means a lot to me to be on here, so thank you.
Of course. Once again, thank you all for your support. I have been your host, Jessica, and I'll see you next time for more All Japan Pro Wrestling.
This has been a Count Out Podcast.
Hello, my name is Jessica and I'm the host of Jumping Knee Pod, a modern day All Japan podcast. Join me and a guest each month as we cover all that went down in the ring, outside of the ring and everywhere else. Big title matches, tournaments, character arcs, storytelling, feuds and more. It's all covered on Jumping Knee Pod. Look out for a bonus episode every once in a while covering a variety of All Japan topics. So make sure you tune into Jumping Knee Pod. It's a new All Japan podcast for a new All Japan era.